the amount of people who are like, Destiny's my first introduction to politics, and like I liked him because of this, that, and the other, and then like now I know that he's like bad. I think that is the real mark of what good he does, is that he is sort of just like a pressure differential regulator, you know, like a needle jammed into a subsection of the internet that's sort of clasped there and drags things in and then allows them to go in another direction that will make them more overall useful to the online left. I think he really is a leftward pipeline. And staffers during his campaign said they never saw him once. Oh my God, Long Island, yes. Fuck, I miss him. Louboutin is the shoes with the red heels. Yes, I think I meant to say Louis Vuitton bag. Those things sound too close to me. Bring him back. Bring him back. But as far as locales, so I was just talking about the good thing. The most wonderful hypocrite to have ever existed, because nothing about him was dishonest. With Hasan, there is a very noticeable hypocrisy, to get back on track. And that is, he does public consumption of his wealth. He does do, he buys expensive cars, he buys expensive homes, he lives in expensive areas, he pals around with celebrities, and so he does live a life that he didn't work hard by any metric of hard work that normal people would understand. He does not live a life that hard work gave to him. It's mostly luck and privilege led to where he is. And he sits high above every other person in his entire industry subsection. Like, he is born to more wealth, commands more viewers, commands more attention, and gets more opportunities than anyone else on the online left. By far. He's our most outspoken figurehead. By far. And unlike someone like Destiny, who's in the same area, Destiny really jumps out of being on the left. Destiny is, depending on who you are talking to at that moment and what day of the week it is, Destiny is a hardline socialist, which has never been the case. A actual literal practicing armband wearing goose stepping neo-Nazi, a common sense conservative, a Midwestern moderate, this, that, and the other. He's kind of all over the political spectrum because Destiny just sort of talks about shit. He gives political takes that tend to be pretty leftist. If not, but more like pretty much aligned with the Democratic establishment. He's, I would say, Destiny's pretty much just a like an edgy Dem, like literally. I think like just, I don't think I've ever heard him espouse much in the way of politics that doesn't stick to at least the Bernie bro sub caucus of the Democratic main lines. Really, he's never really stepped out of that, so that's kind of where he comes off as a moderate, in my opinion. With Hasan espouses hard leftist ideals while not really visibly engaging in them and doing oddly ineffective things to pretend at leftism, which makes you feel like he doesn't understand what the fuck is going on. So like, he has a shitload of money that he doesn't know what to do with, or he says he has it in like banks and stuff. He's like, I don't take ads, I don't do this, I don't do that, blah, 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 which are these sort of like hand wave gestures to things where really like, if he wants to like do news, he could use all of his money to like start up a news organization to like gather news. You know, he could pay the people that are being like underpaid that he brings up in the Twitter. Like, there's a lot of ideas, right? And it's a lot of pocket watching, but the thing is when you're talking about socialism, pocket watching is okay. Also, he really talks out of both sides of his mouth, Hasan does, about internet harassment. He in videos we've watched on this channel, on one hand will say, I am being attacked, this shouldn't happen, you shouldn't permit this to happen, blah, 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 blah. And then he will say, go and mass report this. Go out, literally, I'm sending my people out from my audience to go and do shit, right? Go and report people, go and do this, go and do that, which is a terrible idea. Don't ever do it, because no one activating your audience in that way towards negativity is going to make them think not all the time about doing specifically what you said, but also just trying to carry out the character of what they're interpreting from you. And when it's Hasan screaming at the top of his lungs about how LSF is going to get him or some other, streamer to kill themselves, and like, won't somebody do something about this, and various other things, and like, this is unfair, that's unfair. He also talks extensively about like good political messaging and like how good he is at debates. He's terrible at debate. He like literally trash. I think the people he's beaten are just kind of like in the similar vein of Vosh, other fucking morons. Like, yeah, like it's pretty easy to beat Andrew Tate on misogyny. You kind of just have to go in there and be like, well, aren't you a misogynist and don't you commit crimes? And then like, you've won the fucking debate, which good, that's great. He's not always a failure, but the problem is his weak spots are very, very weak. You know what I'm saying? And when you're talking about the possibility of somebody causing an issue, talking about all the good things they do is not necessarily going to fix them. And I think a lot of the times the good thing that drama channels do, whether or not you like them, is they do attack the weak spots of creators. With Hasan's inability to keep his cool, maybe even his desire to not keep his cool in order to like get his fucking audience fired up, is a massive, massive opening. And along with that is his kind of inability to express any of his politics as a equal to somebody that he's talking about. There's two schools of people on the internet. One of them is wrong, and that's the people that think he did good in that Piers Morgan debate where there was 3 other people there, and then there's the people who are right and know that that was a very, 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 very bad look. He's still proud of how he came off there for no discernible reason. In his mind and in the mind of his steadily coalescing to like, we're going to support your behavior no matter what type of core audience, that probably seemed great because they just want to see him beat his chest and strut around and be right through might. It's literal, just pre-fascism. That's just the case of things. Anyone else watching it is like, okay, he's petulant. He's not making any points. He talks slow. He doesn't seem like he's fucking practiced any of this, and he's rude and condescending to people without ever giving them their due whatsoever. So, I guess if you want to do that entirely, you can. But it's easier. It's more justifiable to be rude and condescending to somebody and pause their videos when they're not in the room with you. You have to moderate your behavior if you're actually talking directly with somebody. I say a lot of shit to What a Faultist in videos, right? But I have to kind of get my entirety of everything out because it's a video. I've actually had a conversation with the person. I say this now. I say it all the time. If you're new here, I will always meet people's energy with what they bring to me. And that doesn't mean just like the intensity of the energy, but also like what kind of rhetorical devices and stuff that you're going to bring to the table. So, I will call somebody a fucking moron, but I'll also give them plenty of time to talk because you can't argue with somebody that you haven't heard out, right? Once people are saying things and you can kind of jump in, that's where the Vosh thing goes. And that's why the Vosh thing fucking went off the rails because it just won't let Vosh. With Hasan, he gets fucking pissy and petulant. And the thing is if you're trying to convince anybody to your cause and like that's what you do, then what the fuck is the point of you acting in a way that's not going to get anyone to join it? And I think it's very interesting that the drama community is doing a much better job of pointing out the shortcomings in Hasan's advocacy than any of Hasan's closest orbiters are. I had this up. We can watch a little bit of it. Or maybe I should can I just do Twitter? I had some stuff saved here. Yeah, so this is like Willie Mack made a video. We don't have to watch the entirety of it, but I think he, like, if we just kind of get into this, Ludwig folding Hasan, streaming is harder than a real job. If I just look at the sort of highlight reel of shortcomings of Hasan in the last couple years, it is pretty exceptional. Streaming is harder than a real, Ludwig folding, the worst debate, still bad at news. Everything is Nazi Germany, rewriting history, hates his fans' conclusion. I haven't watched all of this, but he makes some pretty decent points in just this, the worst debate area.
Oh.
Hasan didn't like Destiny's debate with Ben Shapiro. He called Destiny an idiot for not picking apart Ben's points. Hasan's advice that he tries to give Destiny is terrible. He's like, never let Ben explain anything.
The problem is you shouldn't actually ever ask him, like, how do you enforce that? Because then
the internet has made a lot of people way too comfortable with saying shit and not getting punched in the face for it. Mike Tyson, pretty sure at least. I like that your name's Jimbo Slice, because like Kimbo Slice, you know what I mean?
you're kind of conceding. You're giving him an opportunity to describe his like idiotic worldview.
Destiny does real politics, and he is hated for it. It really is true. I mean, Destiny, I'll say this. Destiny leans exceptionally hard. I won't say it in a way that I'm like giving a full-on value judgment of it, because it is what it is. In my mind, Destiny leans extremely hard into unnecessary, in my mind, edginess and stuff that is very, very irritating to people and awful. But I have to say, his ability to understand the political theater of his area, of his subgenre of politics, his ability to understand the political theater of it, and his ability to edge that into positive policy prescriptions that will benefit him and his ideals via his massive audience, is pretty impressive. It doesn't mean it's always going to equate to stuff. You can say you are or aren't for this, that, or the other. You have your own statement. It is what it is. Is he the best political spokesperson for stuff? No. Is he probably, as far as I could say, amongst the biggest pieces of shit, amongst the biggest players that I know of from the left that would appeal to people on the internet in his area? I would say he's probably one of the best examples of trying to appeal to alt-right, highly online, extremely non-grass touching or just highly edgy boys. I think he's probably one of the best examples of approaching those kind of communities, staying relevant in them, and still constantly being a leftward force. I think some of the best things about Destiny is the constant influx of new Destiny fans and the constant outflow of old Destiny fans. Because the amount of people who are like, Destiny is my first introduction to politics, and like I liked him because of this, that, and the other, and then like now I know that he's like bad. I think that is the real mark of what good he does. Is that he is sort of just like a pressure differential regulator, you know, like a needle jammed into a subsection of the internet that sort of clasped there and drags things in and then allows them to go in another direction that will make them more overall useful to the online left. I think he really is a leftward pipeline. I can't see generally the opposite. With Hasan, I think there's a big issue of people going from the left toward more fascist positions overall. Without irony, I say that because Hasan is emblematic directly of great man theory. That's what people like about him. If you listen to his fans and what they say they like about Hasan, it is all stuff that just gets you back to vanguardism, great man theory, authoritarian style economic change as opposed to a liberal economic change through democratic processes, like forced this, forced that, and a lot of reactionary standpoints. A lot of people who are like, I think that anything is okay, ontologically speaking, if it results in the results, basically, if it creates the results that I want.
view, and Ben is a very skilled debater, and he will try to present his handmaiden tale as dystopia in like
Destiny is stuck in Ayn Rand's libertarian fantasy land. I'd have to see some evidence for that. That's crazy. I would need a lot. I would need a lot of evidence in that direction. Just because, first off, if you have more than 2 brain cells and you're still a libertarian, Rand is just not it. You know what I mean? Like Randian economics and Randian politics are moronic. I can see people approaching him because maybe they do think of him as a John Galt type figure, but he's not an industrialist. He doesn't really provide much. I think in Rand's world, somebody like Destiny is considered useless. I don't know. I have to get more into Rand. I think he's just a liberal, not like because Randian economics, through everyone that I've ever talked to, Randian political theory, as light as that is, I've got to read that fucking book. Fine, this fucking goddamn streaming is gonna make me have to read the goddamn Fountainhead. Atlas Shrugged and shit. I'm just so uninterested in doing it. But all of the people who ascribe to Randian politics are for governmental dissolution. Ultimately, like it is an ANCAP theory, a narco-capitalist theory, and I've never. It requires that. Like all Randian policy requires dissolution of a federal unified government, and he is pro-liberal democracy, so like that is antithetical to him. I would need like serious evidence. I would believe that fucking Destiny is an undercover ML. Unironically, I would believe that he was an undercover Marxist-Leninist before I believed he was Randian. Just because there's nothing in anything I've ever heard him say politically, even joking, where he would prefer a dissolution of the state. That's the thing. All of his policy prescriptions require large government, which is why he's inevitably more left of all of the center moderate libertarian type people, and especially just he's leftist by an American standpoint, because a lot of American futurist and even MAGA crowd people actually still want dissolution of the federal government. It's part of the Southern strategy, is weakening of federal programs and stuff. States' rights is Randian ultimately in its end game. Like a balkanization of the Americas is a very, very, very right-wing policy prescription, and Randian goes to that. That's why in America, that's how that pulls out. If you're not from America, and that sounds crazy, whatever, but just understand, in America, that would be for Destiny specifically, that's crazy, unless I've missed something like entirely.
like a relatively positive way.
But that's how good conversations work. One person talks and then the other person responds. If you don't go down their logical thought process, how will you ever understand their argument? It's no wonder all of Hasan's debates turn into screaming matches. Now, this debate was widely praised for being civil, respectable, and for allowing there to be a deeper conversation than just name calling. I don't want to show you too much because it's a little dry. It's a politically nuanced conversation.
Hasan is unfortunately the dumbest guy here this time. Please just simply tell me why you think that is the case instead of just saying that and making yourself feel smart, because that is what dumb guys do.
My guy, that's you. The master debater Hasan, would get a chance to show off his debate tactics on Piers Morgan, but unfortunately would run into someone as stubborn as himself. Emily is pro-Israeli Hasan. She's loud and overly dramatic, demonizing everyone.
How dare you? How dare you say it's okay to talk about an intifada?
My goal is solutions. Your goal is the continuation of violence.
Yeah, these two were made for each other. I ship them. When going on a show to debate Israel-Palestine, the number one question you will be asked is, do you think October 7th was justified? And Hasan refuses to answer directly.
It does seem that you're very selective about the violence that you support. That when you support it, it's justified. When other people use things in a violent way that you don't support, it's unjustified. Seems like it's all skewed to what Hasan Piker thinks.
Well, not necessarily just what I think. I think that there are obvious markers, obvious boundaries. I don't think violence against civilians is justified. I have talked about October 7 on this very same show, saying that it was a tragedy. It was atrocities that occurred on October 7 specifically. When you target civilians in any capacity, I think that that is unacceptable. However, this does not mean that violence will not occur in many circumstances. Violence has occurred in every single revolutionary act.
One of the main reasons I want to get, okay, he's like right here.
Which is, does Hamas attack count as...
This does not mean action. Many good revolutionary actions.
Piers now asked the obvious question, which is, does Hamas attack count as one of those good revolutionary actions?
Was what Hamas did on October the 7th an example of what you would call a justified revolution?
I don't look at every single act of violence. I look at...
This is the exact same. One of the main reasons I wanted to show you guys this, and you don't have to, you can watch this Willie Mack show video on your own. If you do, if you don't want to. If you don't like drama content, don't watch it. It's a little mean-spirited. It's a little reactionary, but that's fine. The thing is, and the reason to bring this up is I just wanted you to hear how Willie Mack show is talking about it. And he hits a lot of the exact same points that I did. And that I did on that. And the reason why I think that's important isn't because necessarily Hasan is wrong in some of his messaging. But like I said, and actually Willie Mack show says it a little bit later. I've seen this specific part of the clip. He's like, he said the same thing I did, which is like, if you think that Hamas is justified in killing Israelis, just say it. Come out and fucking say it. But you're too obsessed with these optics and seeming like, and appealing to a lot of people as this like fake revolutionary that you're kind of stabbing yourself in the foot, which is honestly good advice. And my thing is if Willie Mack show should not be a person that's being able to give this good of criticism on a major political figure. With all due respect to Willie Mack show, not like he's too fucking stupid. I don't know the guy personally, but generally, drama content is catered to the standard, slightly reactionary normie. The bread and butter of old school fucking drama content used to be like, this family channel is doing a literal crime on their YouTube. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, this guy, you know, whatever, EDP, what, you remember that one fat pedophile dude? You know, this guy is like, they're hunting him, and then, but like, maybe the hunt is fucked up. Like, it's normie ass content. It's just standard gossip and scold bullshit. And the thing is you should be, as any political actor, able to elevate yourself through just understanding enough about people and how they act that you won't be immediately have your throat out where somebody like Willie Mack show can bite it. Because he's going to do this kind of content no matter what. If it's not Hasan, he's going to be talking about somebody else, and he's going to be like, wow, this person like literally is walking around on the internet with their throat open, ready to get fucking pounced on by a drama YouTuber because they're doing drama shit. They're embarrassing themselves. They're being hypocrites on main. They're engaging in lol-cal or pre-lol-cal behavior. Look at this. Any normie can understand it, right? To get into Destiny, you have to have like higher level understandings of how he's kind of fucked up and weird. You know what I mean? Like, and most normie reactionaries aren't going to give a shit about edgy jokes. You have to be highly on the left to fucking be like, okay, you know, I'm permanently pissed at fucking Destiny. He should not be saying the N-word. No, I think he's fucking stupid as shit. He's a fucking moron for it. But I can't do anything about it. Twitch, I guess he's already kicked off of Twitch. He's on Rumble. The dude's kind of like immune to criticism in that way. And I think Destiny knows it. And that's why he doesn't care and does what he does. Whereas Hasan doesn't understand that he is engaging with stuff in a way that he's not immune to. And he thinks he should be, and he thinks he's above the criticisms that he's getting, and he's not, which is really what fucking drama YouTubers latch onto. And even if those things aren't always evident, the second you see yourself kind of getting approached in that way, you should assume that you're fucking up as a higher level actor. Drama YouTubers that attack individual citizens, privately existing individuals, motherfuckers with like 400 subs on YouTube. Yeah, that's dipshit behavior. But somebody that prides themselves on being media trained and you know, like, I'm out here, I literally exist to do agitprop. Like, I've heard Hasan say, I literally exist to do agitprop. That's what I provide. I provide agitprop. That's what I do. You know, I think I almost got it that time. If the entirety of your existence is the visibility of your existence, you have no right to complain when you fuck that up, like that's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a professional football player who's a quarterback, like a quarterback. No, you know what's better is a center. A center has like one job, well, a series of jobs, but basically the center is in the center of the offensive line. Snap the ball, make sure no one gets past you, right? Do these things, shift. There's a lot of complexities to that specific job, but the biggest thing that you do is you fucking hold the line, right? You hold the line. This is like a center in the NFL who doesn't work out and doesn't eat the right calories and shows up weak on game day, getting fucking knocked to the ground and saying like, I cannot believe that these fucking defenders are pushing past me. Like, how is the fuck defense like stronger than me? Like, why are they pushing me to the ground? Ref, can I get a call? Can I get a fucking call? They keep knocking me down after I snap the ball. This guy, I didn't even snap it fast enough. He snatched the ball out of my hand. It fucking scored on me. It's humiliating. I feel like shit. Why are people beating me in the game I'm playing while they're following the rules of the literal game that I say I'm an expert in? And it's all literally 100% my fault that I'm fucking up. Like, that is Hasan literally out there, throat exposed to the wolves, and demanding again and 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 again, basically like displays of loyalty from the left and from leftists and from people in his own sphere to like say like, no, Hasan's not making a mistake. Like, we need to massage Hasan's mistakes. We need to kick some dirt over this. You know, like, Hasan is our greatest soldier. We need to be behind Hasan. If Hasan says something, he's saying it on behalf of like millions of dead Palestinian children. If Hasan does anything, he's doing it literally to end all genocide on earth forever. Anytime that you step outside of specifically like sucking Hasan's dick, you are destroying the future of the online left and of leftist agitprop and of leftist policy going forward into the new millennium forever. Like, that is the issue. And there should be no greater indication of that than him being this fucking exposed to someone like Willie Mackshow, to getting into a debate with Willie Mackshow and getting fucking slapped around like an absolute fucking bitch because he doesn't fucking scrimmage. Like, to extend sports metaphors, to kind of hammer this home, because I know there's a bunch of jock fucks like me, even though I never really was, in Hasan's audience. Hasan refuses to scrimmage. That's the issue with Hasan. Hasan does not scrimmage. Hasan does not go to training camp. Hasan does not hit the bag. Hasan does not do work. Hasan does not drill. He's fucking Chad Ochocinco for the Bengals back in the late aughts, where he's like, I'm one of the best players on the team. I'm the most notable player on the team. I could leave. I could stay whenever I go. And just not performing when it comes down to game time. Just literally not going out there and doing the one thing everyone needs to do. There's one fucking reason you're famous. There's one fucking reason you're rich. It's this: you are failing. You're failing. He's humiliating every single supporter he has by not being able to fucking react to this shit. And by constantly getting online and saying like, oh my God, people are noticing what I'm fucking saying. And then they're sharing it. And what am I supposed to do? You're going to make me feel bad. You're going to make me fucking feel bad. Like, dude, everybody in politics, that happens to them. Alex Stone, that piece of shit, or Stein, whatever his name is, that guy stalked Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to her office and sexually harassed her. Like, that is worse than anything Hasan has ever gone through. It just is. It just is. I know, because there's video evidence of the other thing, because that's the intention of it. You know what I mean? But like, dude, you sit in your room all day. You have plenty of time to practice, but you don't practice anything. Everyone knows. I can see it. The evidence is there. You are not practicing for shit. Destiny's dumbass is. Destiny's fucking getting out there and he's scrimmaging. Destiny's doing debates. He's doing scrimmages. He's running plays. He's drilling. He's fucking looking at the fucking... He's doing debate reviews, watching other people's debate and trying to figure out how the fuck they're making their points. If you want to beat Destiny in a debate, you have to do literally what Destiny does. He's fucking going out there and fucking cracking some skulls here and there. Most of all of the responses to him being bad, and I'm saying this because I fucking like Destiny. I don't really like the guy. I don't think he's a likable person, and I want him to be replaced by better actors people like Hasan are in the best position to do it, and he's failing his ability to usurp that throne and take that position by not doing the work, by failing his fucking community. I say that unreservedly, failing his fucking community. All of the like Destiny didn't do good, Destiny fucking was trash and shit that I see on the fucking left is not actual like breakdowns of his content. It's this fucking Wikipedia shit again and 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 again, which is just personal attacks, which fine, you know, like, but he's weathering them because the evidence is just literally the thousands of hours of fucking, or hundreds of hours or whatever, of him reading fucking books on these topics and then being able to talk about the things that he understands. Like that, if your entire, like, he uses Wikipedia is all you can say. Okay, well, like, you're not going to fucking beat him on that because his audience doesn't care. You are not. I have never seen. I fucking watched the guy. I want to fuck Destiny up. I would love to because I like to kick the fucking bottom of it. He's kind of an asshole. He's a piece of shit here and there. He's got a lot of personal shortcomings and failures. Sure, but the guy's fucking cred when it comes to the job that he does is unassailable. There is nothing you can do to put yourself between Destiny and his audience the way that you can for like Vosh and for Hasan, especially right now, especially if he keeps going down this road. You can sneak in and peel off chunks of Hasan's audience have left because they're fucking weirded out and shit. Hasan's growth was massively fucking stunted because of him not being able to just reach across, not even an aisle, just like side to side with H3 and be like, I'm going to be nice to you. I'm sorry for my community freaking the fuck out. Literally just like telling Ethan Klein, like, no, you just have to change the way that you talk and you feel about a conflict that's highly personal to you, or I can't help but let my fucking community harass you, which is just gone. H3 fans that like H3, gone. Anybody who's like on half on that side of the conflict and confused, gone. They're like, you just see that he's like, I'm for harassment, I'm for terrorism, I won't admit it, but like I'm going to be in that area and talk about it and then still be mealy-mouthed. Ultimately, it's just a shitty position to be in, and it creates so many cracks that, like I said, you have dramatubers that can get in there and fucking crack you. Like crack you, dude. And that's so insane. That's so fucking insane that these high-level people in this area working at constantly watching political coverage. These are not people that are new to this shit. Like, Vosh is supposed to know all sorts of this and that about fucking politics, right? He has to have, I would assume, have covered like the Anthony Weiner scandal 10,000 different times where people were like, they let the fucking cat out of the bag about whatever their weird sexual predilection was and it sabotaged their career. All of that studying put up not a single fucking barrier between them and like discovery. For Hasan, just so many people bad at messaging, bad at being the leaders of their parties, fucking up, being irritating, being pissy, not having any sort of self-awareness at all, and then now you're here. And you look like this and just completely clueless, isolated at the top of a cat, literally articulating his own problems again and again and again and doing nothing to solve them. I feel like I'm fucking alone. I have no one to fucking talk to. I can't go anywhere and have conversations with anybody. Like, that's your fucking fault. That's your fucking fault. You did it. You did it to yourself, and now it's destroying you bit by bit. Like, I don't understand what is going to happen with Hasan that's going to put him on a path that makes him start fixing these issues. Like, they can only get worse. You know what I'm saying? Cox fucking, like, I want to fucking be pissed off. I want Destiny to have something that is a weakness too, because it would be much more fun to talk about him. But even that asshole's doing the goddamn Bridges podcast where he's talking to people he had fucking beef with and crushing the beef. He's having like direct interpersonal conversations with people at his own level and expanding the kind of individuals who have direct connection to talk to him. He still doesn't trust them, I guess, enough to bring into his personal life. I fucking wouldn't. But like, at least you have that sort of like interpersonal connection at a professional level with other people who do and don't agree with you, or people that will at least like take the fucking piss out of you sometimes. Which every time you see somebody with Hasan, they sit beside Hasan, behind him slightly, kind of off mic, and then he watches videos and they watch him over his shoulder. He's just like, his entire podcast or live stream thing is just the guy who's like, hey man, look, like watch this video, and then you go to his house and you smoke weed and you watch videos and then you fucking leave. You're like, okay, well, that was a waste of a day. God damn. Alex Stein is just an unfunny bully. I would unironically, I can't say that. I can't listen to him because of all the whining. He's a whiner. He's a whiner. EDP 445. Yeah, that's that guy. I won't say what that is. It's on fan here. There's been a lot of chatters who have said that he's changed their previously conservative minds on issues. Not saying that's everyone, but I think he's a lot of people's intro to leftism. I will give you that. I'll give you that in a heartbeat. Never go for. What are the calls to action? I might have answered that already. Sorry, I'm talking to Twitch chat. Destiny isn't likable is an understatement. Yeah, that's the most irritating thing. To switch the conversation slightly to Destiny, because I feel like you do have to talk about both of those guys. Otherwise, either community might get upset with you. You know what I mean? Destiny is so unlikable that I do want to find shortcomings with him that I think I could like use against him, just because it would be fun. Enjoyable as just a human being. It was just a Schadenfreude experiencing person to take the wind out of his sails. But like, so it makes you focus extra hard on him, but he doesn't have it. There's nothing you can hit him on. And most of the things you can hit him on, he's already like kind of covered up. You can do personal attacks all day. You know what I mean? And he does seem, he seems especially like vulnerable to those, but like who isn't? I don't think there's a lot of people online in the world, if they had like marriage issues or relationship issues, that if I brought those up in a negative light, they wouldn't get fucking lit and pissed and say some crazy shit to me. So, it is what it is. As far as weaknesses go, I would say it's very telling that his biggest weakness humanizes him. Piece of shit. God damn it, There are a few things that Destiny has done that I'll never forgive him for. Nor should you. Nor should you. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's unlikable in certain respects. He's despicable, and gross, and like weird and creepy. But as far as like having longevity, doing what he does online effectively, and like just being in the spot where he is, kind of unassailable. Doesn't mean he's good. Maybe I'm kind of also describing like, a thing you can't chip off of the side of a plate. He's like a barnacle that's like permanently there. But as far as like most things go, he's pretty benign too, because his ability to do damage to anything is really mitigated also by his unlikability. You know what I'm saying? Most of the people that would take his worst things to heart and perform them are already the sort of bad people that are observably bad. Very strange. The fact that he made Mr. Girl's career is one of the most disgusting things he could have done. That I agree with. I actually watched that Mr. Girl thing. I watched that Mr. Girl debate conversation. I don't know. It's the most Mr. Girl content I think I've ever seen outside of, I half listened to him talking to Vosh years ago. I watched the one between Mr. Girl and President Sunday, which was pretty good. Steve Barnackley. Yeah, for real. Thanks for the sub. Oh yeah, thank you for the sub. What really gross things did he do? He basically, I don't want to say it online. You can look it up yourself. It's true. He's kind of like a bit of a sex pest. He's shitty to people that he's been with, like women that have been in his life. He's bad to them. He constantly brings in people that are fans of his, or people that are in the community that are underneath him. He'll fuck, and then if they displease him, he'll throw them to the wayside and make fun of them. A lot of despicable relationship type behavior, which you can take or leave. It's one of those things where if you see an e-girl in his orbit, there's a very real chance he's either groped or fucked them, or tried to, and it was an embarrassing weird thing. Just grimy. He's definitely a guy that shits where he eats. There's a point where you have to grow beyond a Hasan, Destiny, Vosh. I don't care much if y'all like any of them, but you have to grow more if this leftist thing is supposed to matter. True. I would say, I don't know. I don't want to make any prescriptions against people's being fans of anyone. You know what? I'll say this. I would say in closing with this segment, it's perfectly fine to be still a fan of any of these people because they like meant a lot to you, or because like they introduced you to stuff. And really, I don't think any of them are so particularly awful, specifically in the content that they provide, that would be like a hard judgment against you. I don't think the like intra DGG, VGG, Hasan Cord hate, I don't think that is valuable. And I think that a lot of the people that perpetuate the we have to destroy one of these other three camps, I think a lot of them are either ops or just don't understand what they're supposed to be getting from these spaces. I don't think any of them are so dangerous that they could like derail a movement or create inherently bad actors in some extraordinary way. I've met DGGers IRL. They seem to be perfect examples of the kind of people who would be interested in going to internet meetups. They're fine, and time moves on. The people that you watch on the internet, I don't think generally, with notable exceptions, are indicative of who you are as a person. And unless you get into things like, yeah, I watch mostly fucking like neo-Nazi content because I'm a neo-Nazi type shit, then obviously that's bad. I actively hate Destiny, but there are worse people online, to be frank. Yeah, it sucks that he talks to most of them. I don't like Destiny and his opinions on Palestine and the whole thing about the rules of war. All of his Israel-Palestine takes are weird and shitty. They're weird, shitty. All of his war stuff is wrong. Lonerbox's stuff on war is crazy off base. I got to start watching more Lonerbox, I think. I think I can make some headway in there. I think I think he's like a mini boss that you got to start fucking fighting. It's fine to be a fan, but when you find yourself defending behavior you disavow from anyone else, stop, get help. True. I'm only a fan of Sweet Cheeks and Gorpo, as is the true way forward. The only acceptable method. I will say this. Of all the people, I think Hasan has the most possibility of like maybe having like a come to God moment, however that exists, and like becoming not cringe again. Hasan seems like he's stuck right now with all of this kind of Israel stuff in his worst feelings, and they are dominating his life start to finish in a very, very bad way. And maybe when it passes, he'll kind of shake the dust off and grow. Honestly, like, hopefully this Willie Mack show fucking thing breaks the ice, the crust, whatsoever, off of the artifice, and then he can start approaching things better. Because ultimately, I don't like Hasan's messaging, but he's the most on the right side of the Israel-Palestine thing of any of the big three. I can't even remember what Vash's takes are, but they're basically like just repeating other people's, so he doesn't get credit. Destiny's completely off base, to wrong, to like actively like idiotic about shit. But he does have good criticisms. Most of Destiny having any point at all in the Israel-Palestine thing is because of people that are like Hasan and like Hasan orbiters who are so bad at doing the right kind of messaging for that conflict that they create openings that he can attack through that are highly fucking effective, like embarrassingly so. Do you know what I mean? Because it just is a genocide. Like you don't have to get like into the specifics. Just say, it's a fucking genocide. Because it just is. Just people keep dying. Just say the vibe is. Just say the vibe is a genocide. I don't know. I just think anything that gives genocide vibes is a genocide. I don't feel like I have to explain more than that. You're fine. Oh, but what about what happened in 1964? I don't care. I wasn't alive. I don't give a fuck. I care about the people that are dying today. There's nothing to happen. There's nothing to happen 20 years ago that justifies a genocide. Just nothing that does. But what about this? No, it just doesn't justify. What does it justify? Terror attacks? No, not really. Attacks against civilians are bad. It shouldn't happen. Anyone that did that should get fucking cracked. But it also doesn't like it doesn't fix the problem. If they're all freaking out because you're like killing them all the time and taking away their houses, then like yeah, they're gonna get freaked out and they're gonna try to kill you. So just give them their houses back. It seems like it's more effective than trying to kill them because you keep trying to kill them and then they kill you back. So like, I don't know. Either have the balls to finish the genocide that you're doing because you're doing a genocide. It just is a genocide. I don't give a fuck. It just is. Get dunked on. What's your argument against it? Oh, I go fucking nerd shit. No, it's a genocide. You know why? Because I said so. When somebody with cop phrenology says it's a genocide, it just is. That's it. I don't need fucking evidence. I don't need it. Oh, but the ICJ, I don't give a fuck about the ICJ. I'm American. Do you think the ICJ can tell me if something's a genocide that I did? No, they can't. So like, who gives a fuck what they say? They say it is. They say it isn't. Whatever. They can either agree with me and be right, or they can disagree and be wrong. But it's a fucking genocide. It just is. You just keep killing people. You keep killing people, and then they're disappearing. If there's there's an ethnicity in a spot, and now it's gone, or you're trying to make it gone, it's fucking genocide. Oh, what are all these other things that are like small that are like, were those genocides too? We didn't call them that. Oh, well, they probably should have been called in that. I don't know. I think you don't need to have a very strict definition for genocide. I think you can have a way looser one. You know, I don't think you have to add a whole bunch of stipulations to it. I think you can just say it is. How about if you're doing anything and people start thinking it's a genocide? Stop. What the fuck? Get dunked on. That's the entire argument as far as I'm concerned. And every time I hear any more additional evidence on top of any of it, nothing changes my mind. Like you're talking about like, oh, but what about if we go back to 1922, fucking, Ben Horowitz said, fucking, I wish oh boy, I wish I could not do a genocide and this stuff. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. What the fuck would happen in 1929? It's because a lot of people try to like justify what the fuck's happening based on these moral bases. And this is the reason that like trying to bring moral justification for violence is stupid. Like it's just bad. It's always going to lead to bad things. There's no justification for violence. That's the thing. The justification for violence is to end harm, but it's still a bad thing. Like if you kill a guy who's getting ready to kill somebody, was that bad? Yeah, it's bad. You killed somebody. You have to weigh it out over time and look back on it for like a long time to see if it's good. But yeah, you had to do a bad thing. That's why a lot of people that kill people, even if they're bad guys, have nightmares and guilt, and they wake up sweating 20 years after with the memory of that person's fucking eyes as they faded, like in their skull. It's because killing people's bad. It's a bad thing to do. Even if it has a good end, it's still bad. It's a bad thing. It's horrible. It's a tragedy. It was all bad. It was all bad. It was actually all bad. There is no moral justification for violence. There is none. You just have to do it sometimes, and it is the worst thing. So, like, don't go into it thinking you're morally justified in doing it, because if you think you're not, you're probably going to be more likely to stop doing it well before it becomes a massive issue. You know what I mean? And you don't get to a point where you're like, look, fucking, they have been starving us and knocking down our houses. I think the best course of action is to just kill 2,000 people at a fucking concert. You know what I mean? That's how you get to that same stupid thing. I'm not changing any of my first principles here. This is me just describing shit literally through my worldview. What's the argument against it? I like that. I'll have that conversation. You know what I mean? Cop coded ex-military wombo combo. Yeah. It's not technically a genocide, so stop calling it that. Yeah, but like, nah. What about that? But what about that answer? Like, what's the response to no? It's just me. It's just me from Seven Psycho. I'm just doing the Willem, or I'm just doing what's his name? I'm just doing Christopher Walken from Seven Psychos. Stop calling it a genocide. No. But why not? It's not. I think it is. No, but it's not a genocide. You can't call it because it's technically not. I don't care. You got to stop calling it a genocide. No, I don't want to. You know, get dunked on. I feel victorious in my argumentation that vibes are off. Why not? What all your justification to go do it was vibes. Why the fuck can my justification to call you a genocidal psycho not be vibes? Yeah, if you want to take it downtown and you have a bunch of people fucking they close their eyes and they hold their hands over it and they wear black robes. We've consulted the texts. The oracles have spoken, and they say your actions were no genocide, sire. Your soul shall rise to heaven, and you will sit upon the golden clouds with your father, the late king. Goof ass.
Hope you enjoyed your time on the West Side.